Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. So, I'm guessing right now we have to run like shit since we're surrounded. We almost died by two of these girls. Oh boy. What a damn nightmare. So, let's continue reading. Ding dong. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write anymore. But even still, there was one last thing that I had to write. I have no idea why it had just become like this. This may be the closest thing to the truth out of everything I wrote on this note. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead, though you may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse or being demoned away, you who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain that I was going to die, but it was my final plea, just in case. I folded the note, stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual spot. I couldn't help but pray. Oishi-san, if something happens to me, I leave the rest to you. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave all the rest of the evidence to you. After that, I gazed down silently at Reina and Mion. This was probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Reina, Mion. I really had thought all of us were friends. But why did it end up like this? I never had any fun in my previous school. I only worried about standardized test scores, about if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go, or a safety net. That was all I talked about. It was like a dull life. The people I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records, and standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over the club, making a fuss over the festival. Something hot began dripping from my face. Uncontrollable tears. I should have had no obligation to shed tears for them, but they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life. Even if they were trying to kill me. Everything that happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. Or could it be those happy days were all a facade as well? Was it all a trap, meticulously orchestrated up until today to ensnare me? Could it have been that I had just arbitrarily assumed that they were my friends? That couldn't have been the case. Both Reina and Mion, they really were my friends. Those happy days, there was nothing fake or unclear about them. Someone probably forced them to try to kill me. Or their minds were taken over, possessed by the unnatural, by the supernatural entity known as Oyashiro-sama. Regardless, both Reina and Mion, they were the best friends ever. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't of their own volition. Wait, they weren't the kind of people to sell off their friends, regardless of whether or not they were forced. There's no way such a thing like being possessed by Oyashiro-sama could happen in reality. Then, did the real Reina and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a silly, dumb idea. Having beaten down both Reina and Mion, I was still debating if they were the real ones or fakes. There was no real or fake, only the reality that was before me. Reina and Mion were sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying trying to twist the facts to my benefit, that I had beaten my friends to death. No matter how I spun it, it wouldn't change reality. Reina and Mion were both dead. It felt like there was a crack in the dam of strange emotions I was holding back. It felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and in that opening, insanity was leaking out. I killed them. I killed them. Reina and Mion. I killed them. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass, I would survive. I would survive. I would definitely survive. I killed Reina for that very reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living, so I can't die. For my sake and for the sake of the late Reina and Mion, I have to survive. I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Behind this single solitary door, they were there. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen. Headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one? After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly, so as to not make a sound. There he is! The back door! Uh-oh. I think I'm spotted. Shit. A piercing voice echoed out. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Keichi. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. Autonomously, whatever you can pronounce the name of it, I don't know. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever, so of course I wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran, just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was, without a doubt, chasing me like my shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran at full speed. Quacka, quack, 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 quack. That was the chirping of the Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something, and then I finally heard it. The wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? Quack, 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 or whatever you get in chirping sounds, I don't know. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. 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 I felt that only the Higurashi knew. And I got another achievement, Chased by the Shadows. Nice. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about a tenth of the municipality's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wished they'd show us a little more respect. Why would you discard the 5 manzu there? It's just decreasing your options. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with a mahjong magazine called Next Turn. You're still in tenpai if you cut the 5 manzu. If you're betting on a haite, then shouldn't you be going into it with a mangun? Kuma-chan, look at the pond. They all discarded a 5 manzu. It's a safe tile. You'd hate if, at endgame, someone was sitting on a tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? The kid let out another groan, put out his cigarette, then took out another one. I just don't agree. Why would you reduce your own options? By the way, you can't call Ron with your winning tile in that haite. What? Why is that? Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall. Are you here, Oishi-san? You have a call from the civilian. Whoa, ain't that something? Welp, see you soon. Why can't you call Ron on it? Hold on for a second, Oishi-san. The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver. Outside line. From a payphone. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is Oishi. Who is it? Ah, Oishi-san. Hello? If it isn't Maibara-san, why, good evening. From the tone Maibara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Maibara-kun had phoned me. And he was calling from a payphone. Please calm down. Did something happen? Well... His voice was erratic over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone. What happened? Calm down, Maibara-san. I can have the local officers head to your location. I'll be there soon, too. I think that's impossible. His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he? Maibara-san, you're calling from a payphone right now, right? Where is that payphone? There were no other sounds besides Maibara-kun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinamizawa phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. Calm down, Maibara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but this was not a usual case. Maibara-kun didn't just get in trouble, get away, and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maibara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. Maibara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from this call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinamizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. That's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding Maibara-kun. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officer stationed in Hinamizawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out and it'll be impossible to contact them. God damn! Kuma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello? Oishi-san? Hello. It's alright. I can hear you loud and clear. There was something wrong with Maibara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Maibara-san, the police are on their way. They'll be there in a couple of minutes, so hold on somehow. Hello? Can you hear me? Maibara-san? I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Maibara-san, who is the culprit? How many are there? I thought at first the culprit was human. Hack. I couldn't tell if that was a cough or vomiting. Are you alright, Maibara-san? I thought that the culprit was a person and not Oyashiro-sama's curse up until right now, but I guess in the end it was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting. But I guess Oyashiro-sama does exist. He's here. Maibara-san, please calm down. I had been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I run and run and run and run, but it just sticks to me like my shadow. But slowly, so slowly, it's digging itself into my back. Maibara-san, are they, right now perhaps, right behind you? Behind me. Right behind me. Please, Maibara-san, I can tell you're scared, but please, who is it that's right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do, I understand that you're scared, but please tell me. You just need to turn around a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Maibara-san? Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound. Maibara-san, it couldn't be that you're clawing out your own throat? There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. There was a bang, as if something was being hit. Maibara-kun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting over on the other end, and a repeating, abnormal noise. Hello? Hello? Maibara-san? Hello? I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering, coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there? Hello? Maibara-san? Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses, trying to pick up what he was saying. What was he repeating? What exactly? Beep. Suddenly, the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. Ah, it was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind. Oishi-san, the car is good to go. Oishi-san. I'm sorry. Oishi-san. That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. Kui, 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 kui. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Kui, 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 kui. Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. July 1983. In Hinamizawa, a remote village near Shishibone City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. The suspect is Keichi Maibara, aged 1X. Something. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Reina Ryugu, Mian Sonozaki, to his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room, and kitchen all had traces of a struggle. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by a strong, blunt force. It is believed to have been the same bats as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed that destruction occurred before the murders. There is the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back, then thrown aside. It is hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart, and its contents were spread out on the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It is believed that the suspect had, for some reasons, taken out the garbage and struck it with his fist. The reason for this remains unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words, "Was there a needle?" were written on it. The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case the garbage was searched, but a needle was not discovered. So the garbage door was functional. It had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garbage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamizawa Local PD, found the suspect collapsed inside a phone booth. At the time of the discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. The results of the autopsy indicate the immediate cause of death to have been hypovolemic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed at his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting death of... I can't even read that. With the similarity of death of Tomotake's-san and the prior week, the police believe that there is to be a connection and have open investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of death, it was suspected... I can't even read that. Treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of the suspect's bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, it is possible that this was... whatever. A metal bat. Observed displaying aggressive behavior as well as taking to himself at school. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to this circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that this crime was not committed on impulse. Afterwards, notes was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets from a B5 college-ruled notebook that had each been torn in half and stuck behind a clock wall. The contents are as written in the appendix. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. Changed their line of investigation based on the possibility. Why can't I just read that manually? That's the only problem when it comes to automatic visual novels that I cannot stop. The nature of the note. It was not written on 2 halves of the paper. Originally a single sheet, huh? The size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. Damages to the note. Suspect's note. I, Keichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with the curse. Reina and Mian are conspirators of the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all on the first sheet. Everything below this has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. Everything above this has been ripped out. I have no idea why it has become like this. If you are reading this, then I'm probably already dead. So the only difference may be the presence or lack of a body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Keichi Maibara. Alright, let's go back. Let's see. What have I missed? Because the text was typing... I don't know why. What I'm trying to say that the text is going really fast and I can't even catch up to the reading. So let's see. The shoe rack got collapsed. The bat is the murder weapon. Let's see. I don't know which part was that I can't even catch up to the reading. Remains unknown. They stuck the garbage stuck to his fist. It was not discovered because the needle, because his mother cleaned it up. Remains unknown. He collapsed inside a phone booth. and he died a similar death to like Tomotachi-san. Hypothalamic shock. Clawed his own throat with his fingernails, and he bleeds to death. Abnormal nature of the death. It was suspected that drugs were involved. Did he get injected with a needle? Or nah, it can't be. He broke free. That has to be impossible. Separated from a group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behavior, bizarre behavior, premeditated. He was carrying out a metal bat, I know that. He used it as a weapon to crush Mion and Reina to death, from what I heard. He declared his parents the possibility of the death as well. Notebook. I don't want to read all of it because I already quick readed most of it. Contents were written on pieces of the notebook paper. Two to three lines, blah blah blah. Cellophane tape taped to the back of a clock. Yeah, I already read these notes. That is My Only Desire by Keichi Maibara. And I guess we're done with that. Ooh. I guess we're done. A new scenario has been unlocked. All cast review section has become available. To play it, select extra on the title menu and then pick the all cast review session. And we got a new achievement. Please uncover the truth. But yeah, let's go and check out the extra. Alright, chapter jumps. God, look at all these damn days. Look at that. And there is some tips. We basically read all of the tips so far. Do I have time for... Nah. I'll just end it there for now. But yeah, the next part, we'll just add in like an extra video for the all cast. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.